Hey, this is Matt Whitmer from Brady Precision. In this video, we're going to continue our look at Honeywell's connected power product line and specifically look at the process of getting your hub and outlets set up, configured together. And we're going to start out by looking at the map out tool, which is an Excel spreadsheet that lets you very quickly lay out the number of outlets that you have, number of hubs that you have, where they're located, that kind of thing, and then export that Excel spreadsheet out so that you can import it into your mobile app, which lets you actually do the setup and configuration of those hubs and outlets. So let's jump into Excel real quick and take a look. All right, so before we actually even jump into Excel, this is a macro-enabled Excel document, which means that it basically has some code inside that will do some things behind the scenes for you without you having to think about it. But you can do bad things with those macros, so Excel tries to protect you. I know for a fact that this document is coming from Honeywell and is trustworthy and that kind of thing. But what you'll notice when you download this file and go to run it, as I'm going to do here, you'll see at the very top of the screen once you download it that it's going to say Microsoft has blocked macros from running because the source of this file is untrusted. We trust it, and in order to tell Windows and Excel that we trust it, we actually have to close out of Excel again, right-click on our document, go to Properties, and then here at the very bottom there's this checkbox to unblock the document. We'll say OK or apply, and then we'll open it back up. And now we can enable the macros ourselves, and we are good to go. So in my case here, the document opened up on the fourth step, which isn't actually what we want. We want to be on step 1, and we'll start out from here. So very quickly, we're just going to put in some information about what we're doing here. We're in North America. Let's just say West Conshohocken, PA. And we'll say that this is demo, and the partner name Brody Precision. I'm just going to put my name in here for demonstration's sake. And put in company name. All right, so we're done here. We can hit next to go to the next page. So now we're going to figure out the hubs and outlets that we're going to be using. So in my case, I've only got 2 outlets and 1 hub. So I'll just call this office, and we'll say it's on the first floor. And I've got 1 hub and 2 outlets. And that's it. If I needed to, I could add additional rooms here. You can add these to your heart's content, but I only need 1 for this demo here, because that's all I've got. Then it's going to say, okay, I'm going to generate a list of your hubs. Make sure that you don't have any special characters in your floor name or your room name, and that you've put in an integer value in your quantities, which I've done in this case. So I'll say yes. And then we get to now our hub list. This is where we're going to just confirm the name and location that's going to be used for the hub, and how we're going to do our Ethernet and BACnet settings on those hubs. So in my case, I know that I don't want to use DHCP, and I want to put in a static IP, and that static IP is 123. Subnet looks good. Our gateway, in my case, is going to be 192.168.1.1. Network and device instance, those all look good. Port number, we'll leave it the default. And then the BBMD, we're not using BBMD at all here, so that we can leave that blank. One thing to note is that there is an example here on the 6th row, this hub 000. Don't delete that. Leave that there. It won't affect your setup at all when you go to put it into the Connected Power app, but the Excel document might complain and not like if you get rid of that first line. So just leave that there. All right, now we'll hit next. It checks to make sure that you're not using any special characters in any of those fields, and we passed in that check, so we'll hit OK. And now we're going to assign our outlets to the hub that they should be on. So I'll set hub 1 for all of these. And we'll just call this, we'll just leave actually these things blank because I don't really need a name for any of the receptacles here. And the name and hub usage portion looks good as well. So now that that is complete, that's our last step from the map out tool. We'll do an export here. It's going to check our characters again. And then we're going to export this real fast. And I've got a little Connected Power folder here. And we're going to hit OK. And you're going to see that it's going to give you a new Excel document with this particular name. Just keep that in mind if you've got a folder with a bunch of stuff in it and you're not exactly sure what the name of the file is that you created. It's going to show you on this window. So now it's going to ask me if I want to close the tool, and I'm going to say yes. So that portion is complete in the Excel document. Now we're going to jump into our phone, in my case an iPhone, and we're going to actually import that document into the Connected Power app so that we can actually do the configuration of our hub and outlets. One thing to note there is that you have to get your Excel file to your phone. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can do this. Probably the easiest way would be if you emailed it to yourself. But if you're a big user of something like Dropbox or OneDrive or something like that, you could use those as well and the respective app on your phone to get them over to your phone. So let's jump over to my app. I'll get that all set up and we'll finish up the configuration on this part. I will also note that we'll stop short of bringing this into Niagara. There's a tiny bit more work there, and I think it probably deserves its own video. So we'll stop short of that, but we'll get our hub and our outlets up and talking to each other, and we'll be ready to do that Niagara stuff in the next step. So let's jump over to the iPhone. All right, so we are in our mobile app now. You can get this app. It is the Connected Power Commissioning app. I think it's just called the Connected Power app on the App Store for iOS, and I would imagine it's basically the same thing on Android. And this is what you get to on your first screen. You can manually do all the things that we did in the map out tool, but if you've got a large building where you're installing a lot of these outlets and hubs, obviously the only way to go really is with the map out tool. And since we just finished up filling out one of the Excel documents for the map out tool, we're going to go that route. So I'm going to hit import from the map out tool. It's going to say, ensure that you trust the Excel document, yada, yada, yada. Hit OK. And I'm going to choose the one that I just created, which is this top middle one here. Select that. And then it's going to say, what do you want to do? Do you want to create a new site? Do you want to add to an existing site? We don't have any sites in there currently, so we're going to do create new site. It's going to import, and then we're going to see our site in here in this list. And it says that I haven't started it yet, so we'll tap into it, and we'll start out with our hub. And you'll see it says unconfigured. We'll tap into that hub. And then in the top right-hand corner, there is our config button. That's what we'll use to actually get it associated with the physical hub. And then we can see our outlets underneath. So I will hit that config button, and it's going to ask me to scan the QR code, and we'll do that. It will get associated here. It'll ask us to set a password, making sure that you meet all of their requirements for a password, and I'm going to go with something really, really secure here. That is sarcasm, and we're good to go. I'll hit OK. and then it's going to make me basically log in now that I've set that password. And then we'll hit OK. And now we can go in here and make any changes that we need to about the hub itself. If we needed to change an IP address, we need to change network number, device instance, that kind of thing. We can do all of that from this page. I don't need to do any of that, so I'll just hit save. And it is connected and working. And what you'll actually see happen is that because I just connected to that hub, and because that hub was already connected to one of my outlets, it popped up on the screen here. What I want to do though is actually delete that. Okay, and now I'm going to configure one of the two outlets here for my lock. So let's do that. Excuse me, for my hub. Bring that over here. And one thing you may notice is that you don't need the QR code to fill up the whole screen or anything like that. It actually, or on my iPhone at least, it actually prefers you to be a little bit away from the QR code in order to read it properly. So again, the same thing. We get the ability to set our name and location and change the names of the receptacles if we need to. And this little info gives you the detail on which is which. I don't need to change any of those things, so I'm just going to hit save. And then it's going to connect here to that outlet and bring it into our hub. Give it a little bit of time here to do that, since it had to disassociate itself with my hub and reboot itself and come back up, so it might take a slightly bit longer than normal. And you can just hit this refresh button at the top here to wait and see it come in. And there you go. Our outlet is connected. So my second outlet isn't actually set up, so we'll just do this one outlet for now for the demonstration's sake. But you would go through each of these as you needed to. You go through the hub, then go through all the outlets on that hub and make your setup and changes as you needed to. So that's basically the setup for the hub and outlets using the Connected Power app and the Map Out tool, which is just an Excel spreadsheet that we've got actually up on BP Tech Center that you can grab and use to get set up. A lot easier than having to manually punch in all of that data into the app, especially if you've got a large building and you've got, a bunch of hubs and dozens of outlets that you want to get imported into the system. So that does it for this video. The next one, we'll take a look at importing all of this data into Niagara and looking at the points and the functionality that we have from within Niagara using those BACnet points. So thanks for watching. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Leave us a comment down below if you have any questions. And if you're interested in this connected power stuff, feel free to check us out at store.brodyprecision.com and brodyprecision.com for all of your connected power needs. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.